understand what is basically a international research paper and where do we fit in our research or what is the need. So I will just start with paint, easiest way to represent everything. So first thing is type of research papers. Now publication might lead to something called as literature survey or original research. There are two types of research we can focus. Now each PhD student is expected to submit the first paper, that is literature survey, with roughly 40 papers surveyed, what we call recently, like today is 2021. So 2021, if there are not 40 papers in 2021, they can go back to 2020. If there are not sufficient papers, they can go back to 2019. Now, within these 3 years, let's say there are only 11 papers on your topic, then you can go back to its original date. Maybe in 1972, first paper was published, but there should not be lot of papers from old days. Okay, because old days are most likely reported, or since they are not reported so much, they might not be correct also. Okay, so it your literature survey paper has to be a latest literature. From this paper, a PhD student is expected to find something which is called as research gap. Okay, so your first presentation will be on research gaps. So what people has done and what is currently missing and where your PhD will go through. Now, I will not be part of this particular literature search. Your respective guide will be there to help you out with this literature search paper. But I will just tell you how to write a literature search paper, because that is a part of a learning which every PhD student must know. Then we come to the second type of paper, which is a original research paper. Now, original research paper must involve something. Now, here you all are doing one project. It is a project, so it is a original research paper. I think you have some prediction based topics. So you will do some prediction algorithm and you will predict something. For example, it could be the when your India's second wave will end, or where it will stop, where your COVID will go, or is this end of humanity? I don't know. So this is the kind of prediction or algorithms will work. Now, this is a very dangerous topic to work in the domain, because prediction algorithms typically works with the data. Okay. Now, why this is particularly dangerous topic? For example, I have made one smart hearing aid. So I have a device diagram, its artificial intelligence algorithm, its signals, everything. Now, reviewer will review it. It will take around 6 months. Nothing is going to change with this data. Whatever I have developed, it may ask me to add, instead of 3300 mAh battery, it will ask me to add 5000 mAh battery and test your circuit again. But when it comes to the prediction data and something which is real time prediction data, like one of your topics is COVID data, then that data after 6 months would have varied. And again, when I submit a second updated review, they expect us to calculate the new data based on whatever happened in last 6 months. So it is very difficult to publish a prediction based topic if the data is not static. Yes, you can limit your data saying that I am only doing from March to April. So by saying that, you don't have to update your data every time you submit a review back. So there they might say, instead of using the algorithm one, you try algorithm two and compare them. So there that could be done on the same data set. So always try to avoid any real time publication, because you have to keep working on the same topic again and again. So preferably take some system which is static. So you might have understood a static publication is always easier. I will show you one or two papers of me. I will show you one paper of each, in each domain. I think I might have all the papers listed. I will also show you how to keep a track of your papers. Uh, so let me just check. I think my screen is shared with you all. So let me check, where is that, KJC. Okay, I think it's in Ninar's data manuscripts. Okay, so here I keep a track of all my manuscripts. Now, some of them are published. So first one was a research paper, which was not time dependent. So it was a device that was designed and it got published. So let me see if I can open that manuscript directly. So this is an example of a research paper. Yeah, here I used Paint. Okay, this was PowerPoint. This was AutoCAD. Then this was a photo of actual device and done some Photoshop to get it clear at the center. Now today I did not explain you anything about Photoshop. If time permits and if I have Photoshop installed with me, I will tell you. This is again original picture and this is again original picture. So why the Photoshop was needed? To get it uniform illumination or to remove any dust particles from the device or get a clean pictures. We use a Photoshop magic wand. So if maybe next time I will show you that. Then so that was the first diagram. You can see all the diagrams has to be packed. It should not have any white space. So you can see most of the diagram will have sections A, B, C, D, E, F, and then there is a long caption to that. So this is how a paper should be. It should be packed. It should not be an empty diagram. I could have said this is diagram 1, diagram 2, diagram 3, diagram 4, diagram 5, diagram 6. But that is not how the international publication works. So it has to be a packed manuscript. Next, I have some simulation results. So again, it is packed with legend bars. Now these legends are very important. Again, you need a longer captions. You should not give smaller captions to your research paper. Again, some more simulations, and you can see I could have published this each diagram as separate diagram. But as a professional publisher, you have to pack as many things into a single figure as possible. So the best papers are one which has only 2 or 3 diagrams, but they have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I up to Z also. Then again, these are the actual pictures. Then there is some tracing done onto this. This tracing was done in PowerPoint as well as MATLAB algorithms. And then we have origin graphs of result arranged in different combinations I have showed you. And this is what we call the research paper. Uh, it will have different sections to this. So this particular section is results section. So there is always a results and discussion section. Then how did I make it? So there will be always a materials and methods section. In that first is materials, where you got these materials from. So whatever you have used, you have to give away the sources. Like this particular thing was brought from Michigan, or this particular thing was brought from Sigma Aldrich, and so on. Mumbai, India, and there could be Becton Dixon got from Mumbai, India. So where you got all those your components from, so that goes under equipments and chemicals. Then your methodology. So how did I did the simulations? How did I did the basically sample preparation, or how did I did the sorting, etc. So methodology is the section which is the heart of a research paper, and this particular section is not there in your review paper because you haven't done anything. You are just reading. Now, what is the use of review paper then? So you are reading 40 recent papers and you got some knowledge out of it. Now you want to give away that knowledge to the public so that they don't have to read 40 papers. They can read your single paper and understand the concept. Then there should be an introduction section. So paper generally have title. टाइटल में जनरली टाइटल केस यूज होता है, मतलब जो इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड है उनको कुछ कुछ जर्नल में कैपिटलाइज करने बोलते हैं और कुछ कुछ जर्नल में सारा ही इंग्लिश टाइप फॉलो होता है. ओके, नेक्स्ट इज ऑथरशिप. जनरली पीएचडी स्टूडेंट जो होता है या कोई भी सबसे ज्यादा काम करने वाला बंदा उस पेपर पे, वो फर्स्ट ऑथर चला जाता है. अगर आपके गाइड ने आपसे ज्यादा काम किया है तो भी गाइड जो है वो हमेशा लास्ट ऑथर जाता है. तो आप अगर अभी 4 पेपर पब्लिश कर रहे हो तो आप जाओगे फर्स्ट ऑथर आपके टॉपिक के लिए, फिर बाकी का जो सीक्वेंस है वो उनके उनके काम के परसेंटेज के हिसाब से होता है. तो दिस ऑथर ऑर्डर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर आपके बच्चे भी कुछ काम कर रहे हैं तो यूर नेम शुड बी ऑलवेज एट द लास्ट. अगर आप सब फैकल्टी हो तो आपके अंडर बी ग्रुप्स काम कर रहे हैं, so never put your name first. Your name is always corresponding author, and which is the last name in the list. If you are a solo author, I will show you one of the examples of that also. Then you are the first and the last author. But most of the credit should be given to your student who has worked the hardest. Even though you have worked harder than him, it doesn't matter. You are always a guide. So you cannot leave this position. And yes, as a student, you cannot leave this position. Try to get as many first author papers as you can, because at the end of the day, this second and the third names means you have helped. You can say I have 5 publications, but how many first author publications is the question that everybody asks. And that is where when you say it's your publication, you should be the first author in that. And as per your resume goes, the first author publication should be always on top, then your second, third, and middle author publications, and then your supervisory publications. So before PhD, all your names should be as a first author. Post PhD, during postdoc, it could be second and third. And once you become a professor or a director or some position, at that time, how many last author papers you have published, that's all they care about. Next is paper will have an abstract. So abstract, you have to follow certain guidelines. Now, there is a fantastic paragraph. So you know about Nature. Nature is the #1 journal in the world. Each paper of Nature published goes at least 50 citations. So that's why the highest citation score in the world is for the Nature journal, which is around 60 per paper. So you can imagine each paper published in Nature will have around 60 citations. And if you have one Nature paper, you are a great scientist. So Nature is the best publication house available, and they have given us a summary paragraph guidelines. That is how to write an abstract. Now, this abstract or summary is applicable for your thesis as well as manuscript as well as review paper. So, irrespective of what you do, you have to understand this Nature summary paragraph document. Now, let me just open a PDF. So it was already downloaded on my machine. So any abstract should go like this. Let us understand what is this abstract means and what are those lines that we write into the abstract. The first 2 lines are for the general audience, irrespective whether you are an electronics engineer or anyone. Your family member, maybe your grandma, should able to understand what you have done in those 2 lines. So this is for the general public and what we call introduction to what you have done, just in 1 line. Maximum 2 lines you can consume for that, but preferably 1 line. Second is more detailed background. So scientist in your field, like electronics engineer, should able and understand those 2 lines which are coming after this first line. So you can explain in more detail what you are doing. Okay. Then third line is a general problem statement and why you are trying to avoid it. So these two are a grayish area. Whether to make 2 lines out of it or keep 2 separate lines, it's up to you. So line 1 you understood, it is for the general public. Any 10th standard student should open your paper and understand with this first line what you are doing. And again, you have to remember that it's separate from your title. So your title and your first line is not the same. Okay. Next comes what you have done. So this is the methodology section summarized in 1 line. What was your method that was done? That's it. Then comes the results. So results can be in 2 or 3 lines, preferably 2 lines, ideally 1 line. So you explain what you achieved. Then comes general context. That is, what is the final conclusion in 1 line, and then broader perspective. So where your research is gonna be used finally. So like if the car suggests me some topic, so I asked him what is the broader perspective, or where finally each paper must have some application in future. So that broader perspective will be mentioned over here. And this is how you always write a abstract. Next, coming back to the paper, कहाँ गया अभी ढूंढना पड़ेगा मुझे. I think it was in some other. Let me check. Um, okay. Yeah. Then comes abstract. Then there is the introduction. Now there are certain rules. Again, you understand ये introduction आपके thesis का chapter 1 भी यही होता है. तो पेपर में जो इंट्रोडक्शन लिखते हो वही एंड में थीसिस में भी जाता है, क्योंकि 100% ओरिजिनलिटी से लिखा है, तो आपका थीसिस भी अपने आप 100% ओरिजिनलिटी पे ही जाता है. So as a PhD scholar, just forget about you will ever do any copy paste here onwards. Okay. So introduction is a part where you will explain what is the problem, what public is facing, what solutions they tried, what is your objective. So इसमें पहले तो general introduction जैसे विकिपीडिया पे होता है वैसा. Then what is the problem is the second thing, and what you have done is the third thing. Okay. Then comes the part of a literature review. So what public has done will come into this literature review, and this kind of review is also there in the review paper. So it's the common thing that you have. Then comes your material and method. This is the heart of the paper. So you always start easiest way. What you are doing, you just write down. Okay, it's better that you write down daily what you are doing so that you don't have to write this section ever. But it's always better to write down this particular section first. So what you have done, and basically it's a set of instruction, like you give to your students ki experiment 1 में ये perform करना है, तो take the wire, take the power supply, set it to 30 volts. इसी तरह से materials और methods section लिखा जाता है, so that when you die off from this world, people should able to reproduce what you have done exactly. Each and every detail has to be mentioned over here. अपने को लगता है कि अपना रिसर्च वर्क, अरे मैं उसको क्यों बताऊं, ऐसे नहीं रहता है, ये पूरा उल्टा रहता है. उल्टा तुमने जो किया वो उसको पूरा बता दो, so that he can reproduce. Once he reproduce, he will cite you. More the people reproduce your work, more the citations you will get. They will give you some more idea, and then you actually one who become enriched with this. तो ये जो छोटी सी संकुचित वृत्ति रहती है लोगों की कि मैं क्यों बताऊं मैंने क्या किया, ऐसे बिल्कुल नहीं करना है रिसर्च में. First thing, you have to tell what you have done, what wrong you have done, what correct you have done. It's okay to get negative results. So you can see here my accuracy may not be 100% also. Maybe in simulation it is, but practically, okay, it was around 80%. So this paper got published. So it's not necessary that you achieve something which is 100%. Even something about 75 to 80% is acceptable as a Nature research paper. So you can imagine that it's not difficult to get a publication, and it's all free of cost. If anybody asks you to pay for your work, there is something fishy about it. Most of the top reputed journals are free of cost. You never have to pay anything to get publication in such journals. Then comes the results and discussion sections. Again, results and discussions, you have to just put what you got. You just have to discuss how to go ahead with these results, or what people can do, or what was your particular findings with this. This is very important section. And I think I lost your connection. I have to check. And then finally comes the conclusion. So this is how a research paper is written. And then the most important thing is references. Now, along with the references, there is something which is very important called supplementary videos. So how this particular thing works, and some extra information which you cannot put in the paper. Typically, the paper length varies from 8 pages to 11 pages. Sometimes it might cross and go up to 20 pages also. But typical length starts with 8 pages and go up to 11 pages. So if you are making a paper of 50 pages, something wrong is there, and you have to put all these material, only important things you have to keep it in the paper, and you have to add all the remaining material as a PDF called supplementary information, and also all the videos to give the proof. All the codes also I generally give away, so that people can work on my prototype or whatever I have developed. यहाँ पे ये चीज बहुत जरूरी है. Some of the researchers will say don't give away the codes. अगर आपका supervisor नहीं चाहता तो don't give away the codes. But when you become a supervisor, keep it ready. Ask your students to give away the codes, because that is the correct practice. We are here to help science. If you don't give away your work to the next generation, it will be lost. So please give away the codes as a supplementary material, so that people would able to use it. आपने खुद ही कितनी बार नेट पे डायरेक्ट कोड सर्च करने की कोशिश की, और जो कोड मिला उस डायरेक्शन में आप चले चलते गए. So it's always better to give away the codes. It's already on your name, so you don't have to worry about the names. I think I lost the connection. I don't know. Okay. Let me just cut the call. Okay. So this was about the main research paper. Maybe in next session, because one of our student has to leave, I will explain you how to write a review research paper, and we will stop this recording now.